Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back again doing your mid-June 2015 monthly tarot horoscope. This is for everyone with their ascendant, sun, or moon in the lovely Aquarius. And, I've tried to record this video twice. This is the last day of retrograde, and I probably shouldn't even be recording today, but I had the day off and I said, well, you know what? Why not? Start to record early. Well, I've tried to record twice already, and it's interesting because the spreads that I laid out, one was exceptionally good and the other one was exceptionally horrid. So I'm going to go ahead and say that there's going to be some Aquariuses, and I think it has to do with planetary issues. Some of you may be having some planetary issues where it's going to depend on your date of birth, okay? Because there's the early Aquarians, the late January Aquarians, and then there's early February, and then there's the late sort of mid-February Aquarians. So it's really going to depend on your birth. And you want to talk to an astrologer about that, because I'm not, an astrologer. I do know a lot about astrology, but it would be, I'm not going to say who's going to be going through what, but there's going to be some of you, I will say, that will be going through some really hard, tough times. My feeling is that if you're in a relationship, it's pretty much over with whoever it is that you're in a relationship with, especially if you're married. Those married Aquarians, I feel like it's time to get out of the relationship if you've been in a relationship for some time, and it's no longer working. Some of you who are happily married, I'm not saying your marriage is going down the tubes. I'm not saying that at all. Like I said, specifically, I think for those people who've been married for some time and they know they need to get out of the relationship and they're watching this, that's you. You need to leave and move on with your life, or else, I feel like the energy is there that it's time for it to end, and the shit will hit the fan if basically it doesn't end. And those of you who are in a relationship, like I said, who've been in a relationship for a long time, may have been resisting the changes that are necessary, but you can't hold back the tide. You can't make it so that nothing changes, okay? And that goes for some other, for pretty much all Aquarians. It's difficult for Aquarians to make changes sometimes because we're a fixed sign, okay? And so it's very, very challenging, I think, sometimes for Aquarius to make the big changes, the big decisions. Aquariuses are very decisive, but when it comes to the big stuff, they need a little bit of help. They need a little bit of, outside perspective. So for other Aquarians, it feels like things are really looking up for you, and it's going to be this huge lift once for the second half of June, where it just things like the sun comes out and everything seems bright and cheerful and happy and roses, and you may just not be expecting that because you've been kind of in the doldrums, feeling down, and prior to, you may have just had some conflict going on recently, and we kind of not quite over that yet. But that's, for those of you, it's sort of like for those of you Aquarians who have recently gone through conflict or tough issues, you're coming out of it. For those Aquarians who are still in a relationship, have yet to speak their use their tongue, use their sort of truth, and leave, then those of you are going to be going through that process. That's how I see it. So I feel like it's really split. It just depends, I feel like, on your date of birth, and which Aquarian you are. So let's get to the spread. I know I've been talking about this, but like I said, that's what's kind of going on with you guys. And yet again, my deck is all screwed up, and I don't know how this happened. So give me a second here. Sometimes my deck gets screwed up. I don't know how. Like, I am shuffling and everything's upright, and then somehow half the deck ends up being not upright and all that. And I like it to be where I mostly work with the upright. Sometimes I do reversal, all reversal spreads, but I like to mostly work with the upright. If a reversal shows up, well, then I feel like it's supposed to show up. But if the whole thing's in reverse, then, and it's not intentional, then it feels like for me that it's not supposed to be that way. It's all messed up. So, starting again. Okay, so I've got a spread laid out here, and I'm going to go with it. Okay, I'm going to go with it. So in the heart of the reading, you have the Queen of Cups. Okay, and for other people, the Queen of Cups is a water sign female. Okay, in my deck, it doesn't have to be. This could be you. Okay, when I say in my deck, in my mind, the tarot is used as a tool to and a good reader, I feel, will be open-minded enough to see things and open to impressions, okay? And it is possible for the Aquarius to be this person because this is an artist. This is a psychic. Aquarians generally have very quick thoughts. Things come to them like boom, suddenly, And to me, she is a very deep person. She is a person who loves the water. Aquarius generally love water. She is also, very in tune with the stars, and the fairies really love her. And this is also about her coming through a transition time and kind of making it to the other side. And I see it as a card about trust as well. So those of you female Aquarians, I feel like this is you. Male Aquarians, you may also have some psychic ability and be very, have these be artistic, be creative, and you may be in a place of trust or needing to be in a place of trust as well yourself right now, okay? And this is the heart, what I call the heartbeat of the reading, the first card. What's crossing you is this amazing sun energy, okay? Really, really cool. The sun card to me is a glorious victory. This is summertime. This is riding off into the sunset. This is feeling joyful, like real joy. Like it's just like feeling like you're kind of high as a kite, and maybe, and I do feel summertime is generally, and when the sun is like shining, it's like, really good for Aquarians because they're born in winter and the sun energy kind of perks them up. It kind of melts them a little bit. It makes them, softens them. It puts them in a good mood. I don't know anybody who doesn't like, I've met a few people in my life that don't like the sun, but pretty much everybody that I know, that I've met recently loves the sun. And it's really strong, powerful energy. I feel like, maybe the second to last week in June, it's going to be for you where you're really recharged. You're like recharging your batteries. Going outside is huge for you. This is like a big, plugging yourself into the sunlight and kind of recharging your batteries. It's kind of how I see it for you, Aquarius. Kind of a great time to do that. So in the distant past, we have the Three of Pentacles, which is, to me, this is like a teamwork, it's a card about teamwork, or being supportive of someone. Those male Aquarians might be supporting a female, okay? You might be in a marriage situation. This could be just a friendship situation. This is in the distant past, okay? And this could be, brother and sister. I usually see it as like a coworker, but it doesn't always have to be. It's just a situation where, someone is supporting you, and you're supporting them. It's definitely teamwork. You switch roles, so it's not just, you know, you're supporting them. They are supporting. They were. I wish I should say were supporting you. So it's a great foundation. I really like to see this card in the foundation because that means you do have a support system. There are people that are supporting you or are supportive of you, or there were people that were supporting you, and so it's just a great card to have. I mean, I just love to see it in the foundation. It's a great position for it. Now, in the recent past, you have this strange kind of blip of this fear energy, okay? Negative headspace, worries, concerns. Some of you, you know, female Aquarius, you know, this is a guy that you might know. This is a guy that may not want commitment or may not have wanted commitment with you. You know, male Aquarius, this could be you in the sense that you don't want to be in a committed relationship, or are you just afraid of commitment, or you're just kind of running scared a little bit from a relationship. Those of you who are single, male and female Aquarius, this is a card about getting into negative thinking, getting into thinking of, you know, things looking larger than they are, things being bigger than they are, things kind of, you know, things kind of getting out of proportion, you know, you might want to think of it as spiral, you know, the spiral pattern of negative thinking and kind of getting sucked down into, kind of, I'm getting, he's holding on to this. I'll show you. He's holding on to his sword here. And he's like really clinging on to this sword. He's clinging on. He's prepping. It's like he's prepping for battle. He's imagining that he has to fight, that he has to go out and fight, but he doesn't. He's imagining the worst army in the world coming down to knock down his door and drag him across the field, and that's not the case. So those of you female and male Aquariuses, my consolation to you is it doesn't feel like these things that you're afraid of are real. I feel like they are imagined things, and it's something that you need to try to control and limit, because if you can try to control it and limit, then you'll kind of nip it in the bud and you'll get it to stop. If you continue to spiral, which I don't feel like you are, but say you did kind of get back into that, kind of continue to spiral it's just not the way you really want to go. You know, I think that's what I'm trying to say. You need to get to a point, and I'm getting drawn to also, like, there's these little marks on his chest, you know. He's been hurt before. So male Aquarians, you know, maybe you were hurt recently. This is also reminding you of past hurts. He has several marks on his chest, you know. This is like a collection of hurts in a way. So in a way, I feel like Aquarius, you're dealing with highs and lows, okay? You're dealing with feeling like you've been through all this pain or loss or hurt, and people have hurt you, and you don't really want to be in that place of trust. Because to me, for that fear card and the trust card to come up together, they are opposites. It feels like to me you are in a better place of trust now than recently. So it may have been just a period of time recently, maybe, you know, the first or second week of June, where you just felt like you really just didn't want to deal with any more pain. You just didn't want to deal with any more hurt. You didn't want to deal with any more relationships that ended in hurt, which leads to a fear of commitment, which leads to a fear of relationships, which leads to you thinking that everybody's bad and everybody sucks ass and everybody is out to get you, you know, and that you can't trust anybody. So it's just very interesting that you have these two things going on. So trust, I feel like, has been an issue. Fear, being afraid of getting hurt, is an issue. Okay. Fear of rejection also is coming up as well in my mind. But you have some hot and cold elements here, Aquarius. So I'm going to kind of keep going through these elements, but I want you to keep in mind it's important to not get into that negative headspace of what could happen when something, getting into the headspace of I can't trust anybody because, nobody's trustworthy, or, I can't get into relationships because I'm going to get hurt, or, you get close to somebody and then you stop talking to them. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's just there's like a push-pull element to what's been going on with you recently, and there's still going to be a push-pull element going towards the end of June, although I don't feel like it's as negative in some ways. Okay, so moving on, we've got the Page of Swords, which is crowning you. And the Page of Swords is, being lifted up out of hardship by the angels, being carried away from hardship, really being not in a place of hardship anymore, and not having to worry as much. So maybe this fear, this worry is a thing of the past. It really is just a thing of the past. But the Page of Swords is also separation. So some of you may be separating from, if you're in a relationship, it may be a separation of somebody that, you cared about, any kind of separation. I see it as separation. She's literally being lifted up by the angels and moved. Okay? I feel like she's going where the angels are calling her to go. And it's like she's getting called away. So, for those of you who are kind of going through any kind of separation or divorce, breakup, what have you, or somebody's leaving your life, even friendships, if somebody's leaving your life, they're getting called elsewhere. It's like they're being pulled up by the angels, or even family in some cases. It's like they're getting called. For those of you who are like away from your family, their family is kind of like calling you. So some of you may be moving, okay? I feel like for some of you it's more separation, where you may not be getting a divorce yet, but it's coming, okay? You're in one of those camps like I was talking about earlier, where you're still going through the process of divorcing your spouse, okay? Or breaking up with your spouse, or separating. Okay, that's come up. So for those of you who are single, this is about being lifted up out of hardship, or getting called out of a situation, or not being friends with somebody any longer, or just I keep using this thing. I don't know why I keep doing that. I just imagine, the angels reaching down and kind of plucking her up out of her little house, little land, and she's going someplace else, But it's all really good. Either way, if you're separating, it's a good thing. If you're in a relationship, it's a good thing for you to be separating from this person, okay? Whatever separation's going on, it's a good thing, okay? Some of you may be single moms too, because I do see her as a single mom. She's taking the baby and she's going, kind of thing. And it's for better. It's time to move on. Some of you are healers, okay? Some of you are like natural healers, and you're able to you're able to shine a healing light onto people, or use what you might call like your green sword of truth and healing, and you're able to get rid of negative stuff very easily. So there's that element. It's very interesting. I'm being drawn, looking at the sword directly. So some of you have natural healing abilities. You know, she's holding this sword and it's vibrating with green. It's showing up there. Now, okay, so here's where the hot and cold situation comes in. Okay, now you have the Four of Cups in the immediate future, and the Four of Cups is I don't know if you can see it there. Hang on. The computer is trying to fall asleep. About a girl. This is, I mean, I see this as a Pisces, but not always. Okay, so Aquarius guys may be dealing with a Pisces female. Okay, and Aquarius guys, you may be dealing with Scorpio female or Cancer female or Pisces female as well. Okay, and Aquarius women may be dealing with a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius male. Okay. Now, I know I was talking about the Four of Cups, so I got distracted again. This can also be, you know, this is a classic Aquarius Leo combination, or someone who has very strong Leo in their chart. Okay. And you get too close to this person, Aquarius, you get burned. So be careful. If you're in a relationship with a fire sign male or a male who has fire sign energy, I feel like you may have gotten too close to this person and there was some burning elements, okay? Maybe you needed their freedom or they needed their freedom. There's some elements of you getting too close and there's been some kind of spontaneous combustion. And, you know, maybe you're kind of getting out of the situation, okay? So I see that too. Now, also, going back to this Four of Cups, this Pisces can be a Cancer or Cancer Pisces Sun Moon combo or Ascendant combo. But I also think of this as being very typical for air signs, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, because she to me is kind of lost in the air. See, she's not grounded at all. She's got like I can see this as her being basically like floating in the sky. I mean, there's just very little holding her down. And so I see it as being, she's really high. She's really high up. You maybe have very high vibration, Aquarius males or females. This may be where you're kind of checked out. And I feel like this is more for Aquarius females. You know, this is where you're kind of checked out. Maybe you don't want to talk to somebody or you're avoiding someone. This is when somebody calls you and you don't answer the phone. This is when you go into kind of like, it's just needing your own space. This is you needing your own space. And she comes up a lot for, I think, you Aquarius. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was you. It's just you needing your own space and your own time to process things, okay? To kind of figure things out. Now, I do think this came up for the last one. And I think this was kind of like there are some people that are suffering from depression. So maybe the same people that are watching this. But some of you suffer from depression, or some of you may be kind of tapping into that depression vibration and a little bit. And it feels to me just like it's a low. There's a high and then there's the low. There's the up, there's the down. It just doesn't feel like right now, Aquarius, you're very grounded. So you do need to work on getting more grounded. You need to take enough time off, to get enough sleep. The outcome of this reading is sleep, needing more peace of mind, needing rest. You also get that one a lot. So, but this is also, the Four of Swords is a very positive outcome. Because that means you're going to get the sleep that you need. You're going to have the peace of mind that you need. You're going to get your rest, and you're going to recover. This is a card about recovering from illness as well. This is very, very strong recovery thing. So some of you who've been ill, some of you have been in the hospital. I feel like some of you have been in the hospital and just not doing very well. Health-wise, this is a positive outcome. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to get well here, okay? So I am not, because I am not a doctor by any means, but I am saying that for a lot of you, you're going to be feeling better towards the end of June. Okay, much better, I feel. So we have that. Now, some of you, in order to feel better and not depressed anymore, need to have sex. And I said this for the Gemini video, for the June Gemini video. And I told the Geminis that in that movie, and I'm going to repeat what I said there for you lovely Aquarians who didn't watch the Gemini video, that in the movie Eat, Pray, Love, Julia Roberts goes to this healer. This healer says, when was the last time you had sex? And Julia Roberts is like, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what she says. And then the healer says, well, you need to have more sex because it lubricates the joints. Okay? So for those of you who are depressed, okay, not only will sex lubricate your joints, but it will also make you feel better in general. And I'll wink here. So basically, that's what needs to happen. Because here's the thing, I've been doing this thing where I flip cards if there's a negative card to see if, okay, so you overcome that challenge, what happens, okay? How many tests do you have to kind of go through to overcome that challenge? How hard is it going to be? What's the solution? And the solution is love. I know it seems ridiculous, and sex, okay? Love and sex. They're not necessarily the same thing. So I'm going to split the hair here and say for some of you, it's just going to be sex. But it would be better if it was love and sex, okay? It would be the best for you. Now, going back to, okay, so moving on into the future here, we've got, you know, the card in the position of emotions is the moon. And this is not a good place to be. Okay, you're very confused. Emotionally, it's sort of just like you're going around and around and around and around and around and around. You know, you're just, you know, it's like Earth to Aquarius. Where are you? And Aquarius is like, I'm over here. But no one can see you. No one can find you. Emotionally, you're like, I'm over here, but we don't know where you are. And you don't know where you are. You know? So it's this is a card, this is a very interesting card to me, you know. This is not what I would like to see for you, Aquarius, for where you're feeling, because this is a deep funk, okay? This is some of you aren't suffering from what I would call mild depression, and, you know, sex isn't going to do it for you. No. This is a bigger issue. There are bigger issues going on. Some of you, it's career issues. Some of it's relationship issues. Some of you, it's feeling like you know, feeling like you don't. To me, it goes back to the trust thing. Feeling like you don't know who to trust. Feeling like, should I wear my heart on my sleeve or wear the mask? Should I just be fake like everyone else? That's kind of the question, you know? Like, it's more like she's questioning who's real and who's fake. What's real? What's an illusion? Some of you are really struggling in your career, too. And you need to ask for help for people that can really help you in that career, okay? So if you say you wanted to study medicine for whatever reason, you know, you call up any doctor and you say, hey, I'd like to meet you for coffee or lunch sometime just to pick your brain. Do you have time? Would you like to meet? You know, chances are they're going to say yes. I mean, if they have time, they're going to say yes. They may say, well, I'm not available. I'm not going to be available to such and such a date. And it might take months, but at least you have somebody to talk to that's going to give you the information that you need. Some of you, it's just feeling, it's a deep funk. It's a deep funk where you've wandered down a path that you have no idea where you're going. You may not have any idea where things are going, and it may cause you some confusion. Some of you are doing drugs, okay? I'm just going to come out and say it too. Some of you are doing drugs or you're on drugs, and that's not a good vibration, okay? I really hope that that's not the case for you. But avoid alcohol, avoid drugs, avoid prescriptions, avoid any kind of drugs. Okay, it may not be. I don't really want to put it out there what it could be. It may not be anything on the street, okay? But it may be prescription. So just be careful of the prescriptions that you're taking. If there's any prescriptions, this is not helping you emotionally. Whatever you're taking, you need to make sure you look it over, completely. Read the fine print. If it's any pharmaceutical stuff, really just watch out for that, okay? For those of you who are single, it's really, the moon is a major arcana. It's a major challenge. It's a major obstacle. Some of you need counseling, okay? Some of you, need, counseling, people that can actually prescribe you maybe antidepressants or something like that. I'm not really big into that. I'm into more like the natural way, because there's always natural things that you can take. I'm into, regular counseling where you go and you talk to somebody for an hour. I consider myself a therapist in a way. You're more than welcome to email me if you'd like. But this is a time where, for those of you who are single, counseling I feel like is really needed to help you out of your funk. Okay? You need to do things that lift you up, that make you feel happy. And some of you don't even really know what that is, and you're going, I don't know what that is. I haven't been happy my whole life, and so it's a challenge. This is a major challenge for you. I feel like this is the major challenge for late June, emotionally, to get to a place where you're not so lost, where you're not so confused about where you are and what you're doing and where you're going. You need to find your direction. You need to find what your true calling is. Some of you don't really know who you are. Others just feel lost, and it may not be that you're actually lost. It may just be a feeling of being lost, of not being home, or of not having, the support that you need. Because it's funny that I say that, because you do have the Ten of Swords card, which is feeling unloved and unsupported. Feeling just like nobody gives a shit. This happens. This comes up a lot for you, Aquarius. So, and I'm playing with this little hair tie, just by the way, that's what it is. So, it's just that I feel like, Aquarius, for you to have these two things together, the moon and the Ten of Swords, this is not what I want to see for you. This is, some of you are very drained out. Some of you are energetically drained out. Some of you have, cord of attachment issues, problems. This is actually having a lot of problems. Some of you have a lot of problems, and you need to ride those problems out. However, this is seeking help. This is a time for those of you to seek some help. Counseling, friends, family, call people. If you need to call the crisis hotline, call the crisis hotline. This is one of those things where I don't like to see these two together. This is major negativity. Some of you, the major thing that's causing this is your relationship, okay? And you're thinking about getting a divorce and separation. You need to actually physically leave, okay? Separation needs to actually happen. And some of you are having some temper, again, highs and lows, volatility, temper issues. Some of it's hormonal. Some of it's just needing to find peace with things, needing to find the peace and your place in life, okay? You need to make some peace with things. Come to terms with how things have been and where things are going. Now, the way to overcome this Ten of Swords energy, which is very interesting, is to turn into the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is tough, okay? And that's you, Aquarius. I do see that as being you, okay? So the Queen of Swords is, and that's what the universe is saying, okay? If the way to overcome your problems is be truthful, seek truth and honesty and trust, and don't settle for less. If you're in a relationship where there's more than one person involved, I've gotten several emails lately where there has been, and I will speak more about this in another video, but where there's been a lot of and it disturbs me, okay? It disturbs me. Where there's been a lot of infidelity on multiple parties. So it's like, let's just say we've got 4 people, 2 couples, okay? Everybody's cheating. That's 4 people that are cheating with another partner. Actually, there would be 8 people involved then, okay? So if we were doing the math, that's not a good situation to be in. 8 people or more. It's unhealthy. This is where you need to help yourself. This is where no counselor in the world is going to be able to help you get out of a situation where there's 8 people involved. And those 8 people are able to drain your energy, okay? That's why you feel tired. If you're still sleeping with somebody who's doing that, or you're sleeping, with multiple people, this is where your energy is being drained, okay? Some of you are terrified of getting hurt because you don't know how to trust others, and you don't know really how to let people in anymore, okay? You've been, again, hurt in the past. Like there's a lot of past stuff coming up. So you need to work on letting that go and doing things that's going to warm your heart. Maybe get a dog. Maybe get a cat. I always say this, the Queen of Swords and that's you, Aquarius, needs to have unconditional love because it warms them, okay? It's anything warming is very helpful. Again, summertime is very helpful for you, okay? But this is finding people that you can trust, asking a lot of questions, looking before you leap into something, okay? Because that's where you will get hurt if you leap too soon. So the advice for you, Aquarius, is go very slowly in relationships. Try to get laid. Those of you who are in a relationship that sucks ass, it's time to move away. Time to move out. I don't care if you pitch a tent on your mom's backyard. It's time to move. Okay? And so in the position, it's funny, in the position of your attitude is commitment and love and relationships. And there is, and some of you, this also is friendships too. Sometimes some of you friendships for Aquarius are super important, okay? Super, super important. But this is the 2 of Cups. So to me, I first see it as commitment. And this is in the position of your attitude. You wanting commitment, wanting something real. Now, for the outcome to be the 4 of Swords, this shows me that you may or may not have this commitment now. You may get this commitment later. It feels like you need to work on your health first. That's what's coming to me. Your health needs to come first. So because even though this is in the position of your attitude, the outcome is the 4 of Swords. If it was reversed, I'd say you're definitely going to meet somebody, you're definitely going to have a strong friendship, or you're definitely going to find somebody to have that commitment with. This is you wanting this, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that because that's putting love out with the universe. And it's interesting because I do feel like for some of you, you are going to be meeting Mr. Right, because I pulled another card and you got the Mr. Right card. And this is the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles, is someone who you're going to have children with. I mean, this is someone who is serious about relationships, serious about marriage. I do feel like some of you are going to be either getting engaged, or this person who you meet in June, or even early July, okay, it will be July even for some of you potentially, will be marrying in the future. So I feel like the universe is kind of getting you ready, going through this process of of either dating, you know, getting out of the old relationships that you're in and making room for this new person. But you have to work on your vibration, Aquarius. You have to work on getting grounded, taking better care of your health, and really working on. I guess it was so funny. I was thinking about this in the shower today. You know, nobody knows how to have relationships. You ask the relationship guru of the world how to have a relationship, but chances are it's going to be different. They don't even know. They can't tell you because it's so personalized. Everybody is different, you know? So, you know, we all have different schedules. We all have different habits. We all have different, you know, viewpoints and things. So it's sort of like you need to think of it as, instead of kind of carte blanching it, like, or putting everybody into one basket and saying nobody's trustworthy or nobody's worth having a relationship with. Why should I get into a relationship? You know, this relationship sucked ass, and so now I'm done, kind of thing. You don't want to go down that road because that is the wrong path. That is the moon. Okay, that's why you're on that path of the moon. So, and you can get out of this feeling that you have. You will get. I feel like you will get past this feeling that you have because, you know, it's. I just feel like it's a process that you have to go through. But going back to, throwing everybody into that basket, you have to take each person that you meet and really get to know them. And really see, like, okay, is this the person that I want to be with? Is this the person that I, you know? It's hard in relationships because there's a lot of things that can blind you. People aren't real sometimes. And sometimes you don't know that until later on, okay? But if you try to get into a new relationship or be open to having a new relationship, my suggestion is get to know them, take everybody in a case-by-case basis, and try again until you get it right. And if that takes you 5 marriages, well, that takes you 5 marriages. You know, everybody's different. You know, you don't have to be in a relationship that you're not vibing with anymore. If you've outgrown that person, that's it. You know, it's time to break up, get a divorce. If you feel like it's no longer working, it's no longer working, and that's okay. And that, you know, don't let anybody frown on you. There's a lot of talk about also, and I know my video is going really long here, but there's been a lot of talk about failed marriages. Lately, people always say, well, I failed, my marriage was a failure, and I hear it a lot, okay? Not just not with my clients necessarily, I mean, sometimes, but it's more like in society, what I hear on TV, you know what I'm saying? Here, like, if I'm just walking down the street and you know, I'm at Starbucks or something, it's just like, people talk about if a marriage doesn't last for 100 years, it's a failure. And I don't believe I don't feel like that's the case, okay? People don't say, like, if they were dating somebody, that it was a failure, that it was an epic failure if they break up, right? They only say that with a marriage, but there really isn't much difference. And I know I might get shit for this, but I don't care. I know people see it as, well, marriage is a much deeper commitment. And it can be. But the way I see it is, it's just a relationship, like any other relationship that is either going to work or not work. And so, if you're at a point where it's not working, you're beating yourself up over it being a failure, when if you were just dating that person, you would pack your bag and you would leave, or you would call them up or text them and say, we're done. That's it. And it doesn't mean that you didn't feel any of that, or it doesn't mean that it wasn't as important. You know, marriage is very, very important. I feel, for a lot of people, because it keeps people, it does keep people committed to each other, and they do try harder to make things work, rather than just saying, okay, I'm done, you know? But in the end, if you're with somebody for 20 years and 15 of those were good, but the last 5 sucked, it's not a failed marriage. It's just something that ended 5 years ago, and you should have gotten it out of it 5 years ago, because at that point, that's when it really came to an end. Don't let anybody judge you, is what I'm saying. And don't feel like if your marriage is ending, that it's some kind of a failure or that some kind of a loss. Because you always gain in relationships. It's like going on an interview. Every interview you have, you learn something new. A lot of times about yourself, and it's practice. So, at the very least. So anyways, long video. Thanks so much. Feel free to email me if you'd like a private reading, elizabetholson31@gmail.com. Thank you so much for your messages. I read everything, and feel free to subscribe. It's free to subscribe, so if you want to see more of my videos. So thank you so much. Stay tuned. I will be back again for July, and I send you big hugs, big kisses. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Take care.